Africa to the Caribbean. United we stand, divided we fall. Black people, know who you are. 2020 vision. United we stand, divided we fall. Until you know we are strength in numbers, and we unite for the purpose and goal. Until you know we are strength in numbers, just unite and what prophecy unfolds. See from your own life, you rise up every day, and your main struggle is to survive. Food off we eat, so the money off we make, so you can't have works without faith. Our purpose in life, unite and be strong, time to tear down them walls and them gates. When black people unite, them always afraid, time to cut off the heads of the snake. Unite, we are strength in numbers, and we unite for the purpose and goal. Until you know we are strength in numbers, just unite and what prophecy unfold. And so you get up every day, you fussing with me when I'm not the real enemy. If you take the time to see, with love and unity, I guarantee we all would be free. They only teach us love, they never teach us to hate. So our love is greater than great. Straight out to Africa, with job by my side, Empress and last year, protector of the faith. You know we are strength in numbers, and we unite for the purpose and goal. Until you know we are strength in numbers, just unite and one prophecy unfold. Say don't go where you come from, as long as you're a black, you're an African. Don't care where you come from, as long as you're a black, you're an African. Yeah, man, I try to Africa without the shackles and chains. Before the slave masters brainwash we brain, some of militant voices them can't contain. The African blood church to me there. You know we are strength in numbers, and we unite for the purpose and goal. Until you know we are strength in numbers, just unite and one prophecy unfold. Until you know we are strength in numbers, and we unite for the purpose and goal. Until you know we are strength in numbers, just unite and one prophecy unfold. We're 100 million strong. We Africans, we must regain. We're 100 million strong. We Africans, we must regain. Yes, black people unite in the Caribbean, Asian, Jamaican, St. Lucia, Virgin Islands, all black people stand together and come strong. 2020 is the year of division, we must come together, unite and be strong for my people. Yes, they can be annihilating us, you know what I mean, and trying to disintegrate us, but they can't penetrate us, you see how I'm saying, because we are too strong. We are 100 million black Africans all over the world.
All right. Welcome, the people. This is another year. This is the fourth. This is the third annual Black History. Well, you know, this year I decided to make it the first annual Black History Talks because the first 2 years we were doing it as a virtual event. People came and performed and what's not. But you know, this year I decided I'm going to do it a little different this year. So we decided to do more of a talk show because a lot of time we see performances, but we have not really come to the root of understanding, you know, Black history for what it is. You know what I'm saying? So give me just one moment. I'm actually going to open the curtain shortly because I do have a few guests in the building as well. While we are also waiting on other guests to come and join us also, right? So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the curtains. Give me just 1 minute. before I decide to open up the curtains to everybody and to the public, right? So here we go. I just open up the curtains right now. I have people like Brother DC in the building with me. I have y'all doctrine. How y'all doing tonight?
Greetings, brother. Greetings.
Yeah, I'm here, man. Happy to be a part of your program for this year.
Amen,
And
amen. It's a good thing, you know. And
how
like
about
Roscoe, yeah, and
yeah, go ahead.
like Roscoe say, you know, it's good to be strengthened in numbers. You know what I'm saying? Because we united we stand, divided we fall. You know, and that's something that one of the things we're gonna be touching on tonight, right? So
Okay.
I want to ask you about this question, right? And let me go ahead and read something real quick that I was actually trying to. I'm gonna just read something about Black history, right? Now let's start from talking about Black history. I want to make sure I read this thing correctly. All right, so what is an overlooked fact in Black history? Let me go ahead and read this first, right? William Tucker, son of the indentured servants from the Great Britain, was the first recorded African child to be born in the colonies in 1624. Vermont was the first colony banned slavery in 1777, and in the 1770s, a Quaker named Anthony Benezet created the first school for African American children. So that's one of the facts that has been overlooked. Now, what other facts do you think has been overlooked about our Black history? Yeah, let's start with Brother DC.
Um, I wouldn't say it is overlooked. I think that we deserve more than a month, bro, to talk about Black history. We need more than a month, man, because I mean, though though we say that black people is free from slavery, but yet still we are practicing slavery mentality individually, and we are practicing that to our fellow brothers and sisters. So that's where I said that a month not gonna do. It's supposed to be a every month thing.
Well, it sounds like we have to do a couple more night ride talk shows about this, being that the night ride is booked. But I know we've done mental health before, and we did a few quite a few sessions.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's a very that's one of the
primary
primary
factors,
factors,
One primary
I
factors.
believe.
I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes,
but
as
especially as
especially
black
as black
people,
people,
because we
because
don't talk about it and we don't take care of it, and because of the negative thinking and the negative talking and the negative action towards our own fellow brothers and sisters, it is not doing us no good.
well,
anyway, just
We just start.
hey, yeah, you can go on mute, bro. So yeah, DC can go on mute. So what I'm saying is, well, you're talking some facts right there, bro. You're talking some facts, and your doctrine. Tell us something that you find has been overlooked concerning Black history. Go ahead, your doctrine.
Greetings. Well, I mean, I think it's a lot of things that are positive as time goes on. I recognize that people are more aware of themselves. Natural hairstyles are getting a little easier to get jobs and whatnot. But I think one of the key things that I overlook is the fact that the more we separate in terms of tribalism, meaning I from here and you from there, that's one of the ways that the oppressor has managed to conquer us, because at the end of the day, we struggle to come together as one because of my nation, your nation, and the list goes on. My African religion, your African religion, etc.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let me see shout out to people like William Procrim. Thank you so much for hopping on tonight. And of course, if y'all ain't doing nothing after this program around 8 o'clock, you can hop on to Stump on the Devil podcast. You know, that's what he does every Sunday. And he just started his second season. So if you're not doing nothing right after this program at 8 p.m. Central Time, which is 9 p.m. Eastern Time and 6 p.m. Pacific Time, you can just hop over to his podcast as well. But thank you so much for joining us, brother. And he actually Proclaim actually like DC's point of view as well. And of course, your doctor, you give a good point. And Smooth D, thanks so much for joining us as well. I appreciate that. Feel free to share the live with your friends and your enemies. You know, around this time we usually do the review word, but this time we're revealing the word concerning Black history. You know what I mean? Because like the brother man that's saying in the song, united we stand, divided we fall, and that's biblical as well, because a kingdom that divided amongst itself can never stand up. Yeah. So let me shoot us something here, and that might lead to playing Brother DC's video because he submitted the actual music video that we will be featuring tonight, right? And one of the things that I was watching a movie with my wife. I think it wasn't this past Friday, it was the previous Friday. Have you heard about the lady called Harriet Tubman? Any one of y'all heard about the lady called Harriet Tubman? Your doctrine probably know about that. Oh yeah. Your doctrine, you would know. Knowing your doctrine, if for those who know your doctrine would know. So so now I watched the whole movie where she was one of the early ones who escaped slavery. And the thing about it is now, she was an American social activist, and she freed about how many people that were bound in slavery, who never had education, because when you're ruled by the slave master, you don't get no opportunity to go to school. All you do is work for free. You know what I'm saying? And like Brother DC says, sometimes it's not only about the work they're giving you, sometimes it's a slavery mentality that we do towards our brothers and our sisters and our fellow men. Like your doctor mentioned about, sometimes my religion and this religion and that religion is another form of slavery in itself. But what I'm saying is, where Black history is concerned, we know before she was one of the first that brought unity outside of Marcus Garvey and Martin Luther King and all of those stuff and all of those people. You know what I'm saying? Now Martin Luther King was a good man, and of course I think we being that we have so many people that has tried to bring unity in the nation, it may come to more than one Black History talk, right? But this is Black History Month, so that's something that we need to honor as well, right? So the good thing about her, I don't know if anybody want to add to this. Harriet Tubman had a relationship with the Creator, so everything she prayed and prophesied come to pass. And even one of the wicked ones, yes, even one of the wicked one that she prayed about, and it sounds like she prayed and prayed to God because she knew God was gonna deal with the wicked, and that's the truth. God don't listen to prayers of wicked people. He listens to the prayers of the righteous, because the prayers of the righteous is what avail much, And yes, good night, Harvest. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And it looks like Posse, good night. Can I get live on your podcast? It looks like we may have somebody who wants to join us. So, yes, and Harvey did say, yes, that's true. She knew the Lord. Yes, and that's one thing. When you know the Lord, you can put God first. So, Paul, if you want to join, you can go at the same link that I sent you last night when you came on the interview. If you want to join on that one, you're free to do that as well. So that's an impromptu invitation right there, right? So, in the meantime, between time, right? right before we continue the segment, I'm gonna play one of the videos for Brother DC, because you knew the Almighty. We have to understand we have to put God first and let everything come after, right? And then later on, we're gonna play a visual. Well, it's not a video; it's an audio for your doctrine. Is a newly released single, and of course, we're gonna feature that tonight as well. Because of course, one thing I like about your doctrine music as well is that he talks about unity amongst everybody. You know what I mean? That's something I love about his music, spiritual consciousness, and I understand he may not be at the same feat as I am, but Brother DC, he has performed a few times and it's strictly positivity and unity he talks about, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to play your video right about now, so to sit back, relax, and let's enjoy, all right? Let's get it, let's go.
Talking by faith and walking by faith. In these times, we have to live by faith. Put God first over everything. In these times, we have to live by faith. In these times, we have to put God first. I know the struggles are so real. If you only believe, it is a matter of time. Don't let your problems get the best of you. Pray and leave it to the great I am. In these times, we have to live by faith. Put God first over everything. In these times, we have to live by faith. In these times, we have to put God first. We have to have faith like Job. Faith in God, we can move any mountain. Keep your faith alive with His words. Trust in God to take care of you. In these times, we have to live by faith. Put God first over everything. In these times, we have to live by faith. In these times, we have to put God first. We have to have faith like the preacher Noah. We have to have faith like the 3 Hebrew boys. We have to have faith like Daniel in the lion's den. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. In these times, We have to live by faith. Put God first over everything. In these times, we have to live by faith. In these times, we have to put God.
Yes, in this time you have to put the Almighty first, and that's what Harriet Tubman did. Now I know what is. Let me see. Sean said the song was fire, and I know Paul said this is my first time here, but I would like to give some info about Black history from the Bible perspective. Yeah, so Paul, if you want to join us, the same link I sent you yesterday when you had the interview, you are welcome to go ahead and jump on that link, and then we'll be more than happy to hear your views. Of course, we want to talk about from biblical perspective as well. So it looks like Paul is in the vein, and that's why I brought up people like Harriet Tubman. Somebody who knew the Lord and knew what it is to pray for the freedom of people and unity. That's one of the things she mentioned. She didn't just talk about freedom, but she talked about unity. That means whether you're black, you're white, you're Asian, or you're polka dot. Unity is strength. You know what I'm saying? So, while I'm on the line, right, Brother DC, I know you said you have some more thing that I know it may take into a different side of the globe, right? But what other facts do you want to bring up in the meantime before we jump to your doctrine? You're muted. Hey, your mic is on mute.
My bad. You hearing me? Yeah. As I was saying, mental health is one of the number one factors that is affecting Black people in general, and it is something that we don't love to talk about, and it is something that is very important to talk about because, as I said before, because of the mental health and that lead to even mental illness, it is affecting us as a black people straight across the world. And yeah, that is something that we need to discuss more about. I mean, um you know, day and nights, whether in person meeting or virtual meeting, this is something that need to really talk to help Black people, to have a good mental health and to preserve us from going into mental illness.
All right, all right. Thank you so much for that. And your doctrine, yeah. If you anything you want to add so far before I jump onto some of our other people who have been there for us.
Well, I just want to encourage everyone to learn a little bit more about the African side of history. Research the ancient texts, research the sources of the ancient texts, and try to, as best as they could, get into the languages, because the perspective of African people comes when you truly understand the African languages on some level, or at least you get a translation of the scriptures that we read, or the history or the account that we have from African people, as opposed to told by another culture about African people.
Yeah, I like when you mentioned that. And tell us a bit about the. I know you study a lot about the African culture, because I could tell you some things in terms of the Black culture according to biblical standards. You know, starting from the days of Adam and Eve, to me, I'm gonna be honest. From the days from the book of Genesis is what begin Black history, and that is just facts. And I know we don't want to read the Bible like a storybook or anything like that, right? At the same time, if we're gonna start from biblical perspective or from doing research, it starts from the books. Now there are other books, other literature out there that tells you about the African history and what's not. But yeah, doctrine, I know you talk, you know, you do a lot of, you do be doing a lot of research and stuff like that. So tell us a little bit about the African history, if you don't mind.
Sure. There's a gentleman from the University of Ghana, and I hope I don't destroy his name too much, but Obadali Kambon. But he spoke a little bit about the Dogon tribe in West Africa and their cosmology. And you know, a lot of times we follow certain perspectives that speak about, you know, outside extraterrestrials and different accounts for the greatness of Africa. And with the way he explained it, it was interesting because he explained that what they were describing really was a form of a big bang, similar to what modern science would account for in terms of their perspective on the creation of everything, and state that we would all, or existence would all start at this predetermined, or this determined point. And that ties in with even biblical, because I don't see I as a young person, I never had an issue with merging science and religion, or creation versus science, you know, because to me, that in the beginning, you know, there was darkness, you know how the scriptures go on. And then when you get into the scientific side, it explains a similar a similar thing. It's just doesn't mean that it doesn't have purpose or consciousness or a creator, you know. So it's just the perspective of Africa was so broad that it didn't narrow down our thinking into like a one-dimensional way of looking at things. Like it has to be a man-like figure in the cosmos pointing at things and things happening. To me, that always was something to me that seemed more fairy tale-ish than reality. And what is more real to me in terms of what I see as African spirituality is an underlying consciousness to everything that we all share in, and that we all assist in by the way that we observe and perceive and make choices and have experiences. And so to me, that always, at least as I grow, I was able to articulate it better. But to me, that always made more sense than than a figure in the sky on a cloud. You know, we understand?
Yes, yes, sir. I totally understand, man. So so that's like a more of a deep thing with the African countries. Now, I understand, if you talk in reference to Black history, African spirituality is more like a underline is made basically the same thing that you just mentioned. Although we have people who have the spirit of God behind of them, like like Harriet Tubman. Let's talk about man like Mark, what is his name? Martin Luther King. So, and I'm not talking about African spirituality. Is that this time I'm talking about biblical spirituality. Let's talk about man like Martin Luther King. So we understand even those from the African culture, they wanted unity as well, right? And Martin Luther King also wanted unity, though he fought for the black because he represented black. You know what I mean? And hey, you have to fight for you represent, but at the same time, you don't go with a bias behind it. And that's one thing I liked about both him and Harriet Tubman. And people didn't like the fact that he was trying to bring unity. But yeah, so before we jump into that, as a matter of fact, let me see what Paul said. So let me say big up to Sean J. Thank you so much for joining us as well. And this is something that Paul does mention something, and I would like to go ahead and mention that. But if we understand the scripture, we will realize that we black people were the first because Adam was created from the dust of the ground. What color is the dust? Woo! That one is deep. So we are all created. Hey, DC, you want to add anything to that one? And then we can talk to you, go with your doctrine after that.
Yeah, I was saying, Ketura, before your doctrine, go ahead and to say what you have to say to your question. Um, that Paul Campbell is my father, my earthly father. So shout out to you, Senior Campbell. Yeah, it's my dad. And over
Oh,
back to you. Not hearing you.
I thought it was a different Paul who signed in, oh, it's Paul Campbell.
Paul
Paul
Campbell.
Campbell.
Oh, wow. I am so sorry. Hey, now, no one, he's saying he did the technology. Do me a favor. He said he wanted to join the live, so I do apologize to my audience. I was thinking about Paul, E.G. Eddie Andrew. He was an African guy who was on my podcast last night. But if you want, you can go ahead and forward him the link if you want to join and say something and share. But Paul Campbell, thank you so much for joining us. And and if you have anything you want to share, you're more than welcome to do that as well. You know what I mean? But yes, what color is the dust? It is black. You know, and which means even the dust that we are made from. Now I understand why it's important. Why soil is so important because now I understand. Now I understand why soil is so important. And God created soil for a reason. Yeah, but thank you so much for that revelation, there, brother. So yeah, we were made from dust. So I know you were saying something before you mentioned your father. Is there anything else you want to add?
You're making me smile in the air, Ketura. You're making me smiling because you see, you're touching creation. For me, there's so much principles, principles. There's so much lessons, and there's so much blessings in Genesis chapter 1, bro. And for me, it's it's deep. It's deep because when you start to talk, I'm just some first thing came to my mind when you talk about the ground, right? Um, the first couple was placed into a garden, and they their self is also a garden because they were created in the image of God to produce. So the first couple, Adam and Eve, God created the garden and placed them into the garden, and they came from the dust, they came from the ground. So they themselves is a garden to produce. And it's no wonder why Genesis 1 verse 28, the first thing God told the first real man and real woman in creation, the first thing he told them, be fruitful and multiply. That means they're supposed to produce.
Hey, I'll
I'm
leave it
gonna
just like that.
I'm gonna repeat. I'm gonna repeat because it is deep, bro. Because this Black History thing is deep, and we're just touching some deep waters and going across. But I will say, Adam and Eve, they came from the dust. They were given a responsibility to take care of a garden. Everything that comes that was in the garden came from the dust. The animals, the fruit tree, they came from the dust, and they themselves came from the dust, which is the earth. And they themselves is also a garden to produce. So they are in a garden and they themselves is a garden to produce.
Well. I understand that, yeah, and that's very true. I think Paul Campbell was saying something, but for some reason I'm trying to scroll down in this thing. Yeah, so he said, I want to reason from the time of Father Abraham. Oh, to be honest, we will have to do a second live if we're gonna talk about that one there. Well, let's talk about Adam and Eve, talk about creation. But before we talk about creation, right? And of course, creation was done by the creator. So we're not gonna exclude the creator, you know what I mean? But we're gonna play Yard Doctrine's video. It's more of the audio with a picture on it talking, and it is meant to be on the song called Higher. So we're gonna take a commercial time and listen to that, and right after that, we will jump to your doctrine's point of view. See if you want to talk about anybody else, because we just touching the surface tonight because that's the first Black History Talks, and then I think sometime maybe next month or the month after, we are going to definitely, as a matter of fact, we can even bring it on one of the review word broadcasts and do that Black History Talk because it is deeper than deep, and it starts from biblical perspectives, and a lot of times we don't even want to talk about that. But let me go ahead and run this time by your doctrine, and after that we will definitely hear what your doctrine has to say. All right, let's go.
We must become bigger than we have been, more courageous, greater in spirit, greater in outlook. We must become members of a new race, overcoming petty prejudice.
Been through world wars and pandemics, still it's worse if we don't stand up. Evil forces go on planning, for resources they blow lands up. Then the people at once panic, as the leaders they all glance up. The elites and the top families, building ships to get off this planet. We must become more than ever before. Great deeds of the past, still we must do more. We must become more than ever before. Through the pain and the tragedy, never before. Better we saw. Manipulation of truth is the root cause. God, we living in fear, but we too strong to lose course. Religion is warfare, confuse all. Every couple thousand years, a new God media, propaganda deceiving ya, information misleading ya, overloading your brain, it's like mind control. Artificial intelligence, God, we signing on, redesigning and molding ya. Lunar phase or the solar, yeah. Maybe in another universe, we could be one with the sun, stars, moon, and earth. But right here, we gotta do the work. Look inside of yourself when you do your search. Had a mission from Jah when you was born. When your life done, money can't prove your work. A new earth resurrect and remove the hurt. We must become more than ever before. Through the pain and the tragedies, never before. higher than ever before. Whoa, yeah, higher than ever before. Whoa, never before. Better we soar, higher than ever before.
We must become bigger. Bigger than we have been, more courageous, greater in spirit, greater in outlook, owing our ultimate allegiance not to nations.
We must speak up
To our fellow men and women,
great deeds of the past. Still, we must do more.
within the human community.
We must speak up more than ever before. Through the pain and the tragedy, never we fall. Better we soar, higher than ever before.
You know, that's a true song, you know, and that also tied into, yes, let me say big up your doctrine for that single, and of course that song is also added to the radio station as well, you know what I mean? So, one of the things that Paul Campbell does mention, I'm gonna read the comment. The reason why most black people don't want to talk about it is because we were all brainwashed to believe that we are inferior and the only slave, which is a big lie from the, let me see, which is a big lie from hell because Satan is the father of lies. You know what I'm saying? So I can definitely agree to that. But you know, one thing that Bob Marley is saying, and that's the reason why the first thing we're gonna talk more about is unity. That's really why I really want to jump down to, you know what I mean? Because if we are, let me ask this big question. If we are created from dust, I know Paul Campbell say give an answer, but I want to hear your answer because I think he in the vein right now and he kind of boiled down to something that we really need to talk about. If if we if we are created from dust, which means we are created from the source of creation for other things other than human being. God created us from dust. And I don't think it's just black people don't create from dust. Because remember, generations after generations and what's not, right? So if we created it from dust, why is it that people we have so much division? Outside of people making us believe that we are inferior from everybody else, what main reason do you think that they don't that we must have all these things? Well, if slavery has been abolished, on top of that, why is it that there's so much division still going on in this world, especially amongst our skin color black people? It look like brother DC has some issues there, so we're gonna start with your doctrine.
Pardon, my brethren. Give me the question a little clearer again.
I'll say if we are created from dust and on slavery has been abolished, right? Why is it we still have all these problems as black people?
I mean the correlation there between being created from dust and I guess you saying beings considered the first people of
The correlation?
creation.
No, I was saying created from dust because you know we human beings are created from dust, right? According to the scripture, you know. We and how I say created from dust because remember Adam and Eve were the first creation, and we understand they're black people, but keep in mind generations went on, and it's not only black people in this world, we got white too, right? So if we created from dust, right? Why is it there's so many divisions going on outside of the brainwashing? What you think is the root cause behind of it that slavery could be abolished and we still having more problems?
Well, I mean, we speaking about thousands and thousands of years of essentially the entire world going against black and brown people and culture. And so the root cause to the fight that we up against is survival and the fear of annihilation by those that are not black and brown, or as we would say, Western civilization or European. And so it's not something that I could say I even blame them for, in that sense that I could understand that they would want to survive, because the planet itself is favorable to melanated people in terms of, from a scientific standpoint, in terms of the UVB rays that come from the sun, and the fact that if you're in a warm climate, then you have more abundance, and if you're in a colder climate and you lack melanin, um, you will nonetheless, you'd have to lack melanin in a colder climate to survive in from a historical standpoint. Today we could travel as quickly as we want, but in the formation of the different quote unquote races, you know, there's a responding to the amount of UVB available and the lack thereof. And so, long story short, you know, there's a survival of the fittest thing going on that we are oftentimes. And if you look at France, oh Lord, what's your name? Oh Lord, Westland France, or wow, the West theory, France Crest West theory. Let me look it up quickly. But West theory, where the fear of annihilation, um, and long story short, a lot of times we don't recognize what's going on, and so as a result, we allow it to happen to us because we want to see the survival of others more than we recognize the annihilation of us. And so it's not about hating anybody, but it's about recognizing that there's nothing wrong with your culture. Your culture predates any other culture on this planet. Your culture speaks to your survival as a black person or a brown person, and recognizing that isn't an insult to anybody else, because everybody wants to survive. But we don't have to fight to survive unless we believe in their paradigm. And their paradigm under undervalues African spirituality, African history, African scientific approaches. I mean, everything. And so we live in essentially in their paradigm, not believing in ourselves and our culture in its purest form. And I'm victim to this as well. I speak in English right now. My name is my government name is what I go by, is not African, is Irish and some other thing. You know what I mean? And so, by the mere fact that I mean, my great grandfather is an Irish. You know what I mean? And so, just by the mere fact that I can't, your doctrine was an approach by me to change that in some way, but that's still Latin based English words. And so, the more we go back to our culture, we have to include or recognize the totality of African people and brown people, and that there's a war going on, and this war been going on for so many thousands of years that the last 6,000 years is so small in terms of us essentially losing this war in a sense. But the quicker, and so when people say, well, what happened? Why y'all ain't making it? Why are y'all suffering? Blah blah blah. Bro, it was like 30 plus 30 dynasties, and a dynasty in and of itself is hundreds, is could be 100 and something years of black people essentially as the empire on earth. And so we just now catching hell to this degree. And when we don't recognize that, we don't see our greatness.
Hey, that is true, bro. You know, that's so that was a little deep. That so it sounds like this thing has been happening from donkey years, like you say, and we only now seeing it, and then we decide to look at the history behind. So I see Fire Gates just stepped in. But you can take your camera if off if you're not ready. But whenever you're ready, we'll definitely bring you. But before we bring you in to talk, we also gonna feature one of your videos as well, Fire Gaze. But I want to go ahead and recognize Paul Campbell's comments here. So he said, "We, the chosen people, although our ancestors were disobedient, stiff necked, and rebellious, as the great Father God told Moses to tell Pharaoh, 'Let my people go, not the people, but my people.'" Woo! That's a deep one. And let me also recognize this comment here. From Genesis to Revelation, Father God keep saying, "My people." In the Chronicles, he said, "If my people who are called by my name." In Hosea, he said, "My people who are destroyed because of lack of knowledge." In Isaiah, he said, "As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them." In Revelation, he said, "Babylon is fallen, come out of her, my people." Whew, and that this kind of confirms when I talk about Babylon, it's time to get out of Babylon and enter Zion. Ooh, and I think then the last comment he was agreeing to, he said, "Yes, brethren, that was prophesied in Deuteronomy chapter 28. God's word have come to pass." You know? So I know what Bob Marley even said to, but I'll probably take Bob Marley out of it for right now. And let's hear from you. Want to let Fire Gaze go and give his portion before you talk, brother DC, since Fire Gaze just enter.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, man, Fire Gaze.
Fire Gaze.
You ready? Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah, yeah, me.
Yeah, I can hear you now. So go ahead and mute your mic really quick. Go mute your mic real quick.
You said you come up?
Hold on. So what I was gonna say is tell us why is it right that that's the question. We, as you know, according to the Bible, right, we are created from dust, right? So if we are all created from dust and slavery has already been abolished, why is it we have so much division amongst ourselves? Yeah, they hear Fire Gaze have to say.
You gotta blame religion first. First thing you gotta blame religion. You gotta blame because you know religion caused division, because everybody trying to do their own thing. Whether you are Methodist, Pentecostal, Catholic, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you have to bond that out. First of all, religion is very, very, very influential as far as dividing people as a whole. Because I mean, as far as religion, you're gonna be a slave anyway. You know what I mean? So for one, and then another thing, the people I'm still under the John Crow. The John Crow man, he did his job back in the day when our people was in slavery. So you know, he pretty much brainwashed a lot of the people, and the people are still living in brainwash slavery, mental slavery, like Bob Marley say. Although I ain't trying to go on the side of Rastafari, whatever you want to say, but you know what I'm saying? But that's pretty much what it is. And people just being stiff-necked. People ain't listening to the word. They don't want to know the word. A lot of people don't want to know God. So, you know, when you turn your back on God, you get punished. So that sums it up in a nutshell for me, you know what I mean?
Yes, you can go ahead and mute your mic. But yeah, but that sounds like some good point that you just created in a nutshell. You know, like so people religion division and doing the wrong thing and then turning their back. Because it goes back to Adam. Adam and Eve. And I can be honest with you. Brother DC, your doctrine fire gaze, please allow me to be honest. You know, you see like how your doctrine say that it's been many years a lot of these things been happening, right? And it's only now we are really digging into the rabbit hole and seeing the rabbit popping out. I'm just saying it in my own words, right? But you know, let's start from the beginning. When Almighty Yahweh tell Adam and Eve, don't touch that fruit. You know? They say don't touch the fruit. But they mean they must go and touch that fruit. And as a result of them touching that fruit, guess what? A lot of confusion been going on. And I think it led up to all these, you know, one person more inferior than another, one race inferior. And that's what I'm gonna say. I'm not trying to take like you know, come to fight it. I'm not trying to take the side of any particular religious belief, right? Because you know I don't do religion for those who don't those who know me. But one thing about Marley, see, until that philosophy of one race or one creed or one this is more superior than another or bigger than another is finally permanently permanently discredited and abandoned, we're gonna continue to have what we call war. But you know, while we on the line, I want to go ahead and feature one of Feige's videos that I chose for this evening's broadcast tonight. It's called Still Pray because we really need to keep our nation, especially our black people, in prayer. You know what I mean? So with that said, I'm gonna just go ahead and take this moment and I'm gonna run the video for you. All right? Sit back, relax, let's go.
Not hear nothing, Keith Roy. Not hear no sound.
Hey, and that was actually a real song by the man Fire Gaze, you know what I mean? So long I wanted to play that song on the show, man, and I'm no starting to start playing videos on as much as I can play videos, you know what I'm saying? And this is a good platform to play some videos, you know what I mean? So yeah, so that's a good song. We need to pray for the nation, you know what I mean? And if you listen to the lyrics in that song, you know, it kind of ties into some of the things that we were talking about. So in this time, you know, it's already 8:09 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is yes, which is 9:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10:09 p.m. Caribbean time, Eastern Caribbean time, right? So we hear from Brother DC because we can running out of time. So yes, we're gonna acknowledge a comment shortly, but Brother DC, give us your last rundown because I think you will probably end this one well as to why is it that even though we are created from dust and black slavery has been abolished, what is your view on why we have so many division going on?
I think it all goes back to um confusion, spirit of confusion, because when a person is confused, um for example, a person have in between two options to go left or to go right. They are confused, don't know which direction to go. And if another person should come on board and join that person that is confused, that going to be two-person confused. And if a third person come on and join, you're going to and join the confusion without finding a solution, they're going to be the third person confused. So what I'm trying to say is that confusion is something that definitely causing a lot of chaos that is happening in the black community and the world at large. And confusion is not of God. Confusion is of the enemy. So so to bring it home practical, I mean, we see it out there, music, man. Keith Roy, and even my other guests out there. We all can relate to it. It seems like that within our community, black people are easy to speak negative or to tear down a next person than to speak positive and to elevate another black sister or another black brother. So you see where confusion is coming from down the line. And this is where positivity is key. So for me, my encouragement definitely, and with my few words, is that let us stay away from confusion and negativity as black people. Let us speak positive things to each other as black people. Let us elevate each other. When a brother or a sister is excelling with their talents, their skill set that God have given unto them, be happy for them. Not to find ways and means to take down that brother or that sister from elevating. And
Woo!
all I'm saying here, it is nothing new because it is coming from creation up until now. It's still confusion.
Well said. Well said. Well said. You can mute. Well said. And I want to go and acknowledge Paul Campbell. Hey, Paul Campbell, you're on a roll tonight, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and add another just comment here. When I'm like decide to go out, but it's alright. I'm gonna still read. Not Bob Marley, but Haile Selassie said, until the philosophy which holds one race superior on another and inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned. So it sounds like Haile Selassie said it, but Haile Selassie was a man of God. Bob Marley only said it in the song. But we had great black leaders from Marcus Garvey, the first Pan Africanist, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Patrice Lumumba of the Congo, who was betrayed by his own friend to the Belgian, and King Leopold, who totally destroyed the body in acid. Only his teeth was left to identify him. This happened in the 60s, not long ago. No black leader came in to his rescue, but I'm my brother's keeper. We black people must unite. We can be strong. And the truth is, and I want to be honest, and I think I'm really honest and sure that this Black History Talks will have to end up taking a different day, meaning more than one session. Because the real thing I want to touch on next, the next time that we talk, is why is it black people fight so much? And the truth is, I will tell you, we already established from creation that black is beautiful. We already established from creation that we are made from dust. Generations came along and other races came. I mean, the matter of fact, can I tell you who start the race? The blacks. Because let me give you a history right there. And I know people like your doctrine might, or Firegaze might have something to say on that, or including Brother DC. Noah was the man who had one wife and had three children, three different races by one woman. Now, if I'm wrong, feel free to tell me that. But I don't see anywhere in the Bible that he had his children by more than one woman. So apparently, God used him to start the different races that are out there. One was black, one was white, and one was Asian. So if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me, but it looks like we could touch on that on the next Black History Talks. So before we end this live tonight, anybody has anything that they want to add? Fire gives anything that you want to add?
I just want to give thanks for you having me on, brother. There's a lot. I already said a lot, and I don't want to be overwhelming. So I appreciate everyone contribution. Blessings.
All right, brother. Do you see anything else you want to add?
Yeah, for me personally too, I appreciate this opportunity to be online with other guests, and you, Keitra, Music Man. It's been a blessing, hearing other person's feedback, and you know, persons that are commenting in the chat too. So definitely, it's a blessing here.
Yeah, definitely. If Fire gives anything else you want to drop in? Not hearing you.
I say, I guess as a people on the whole, as black people on the whole, we need to just wake up and come to know ourselves better instead of trying to emulate the other races out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that sounds like a good point of view. Yeah, you can go ahead and mute again. Go ahead.
Need to put God more into everything. You know what I'm saying? Put God first, and then everything else can be added, just like the word says.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. We just played Brother DC song tonight, put God first. So you see, it all ties down to it, you know? It all ties down to, so, because if you notice, if you listen, for those who listen tonight, you know, your doctrine did say a lot. Because, you know, he studied out of African history as well, you know? And the thing is, a lot of things been happening so long, but only now we really digging into the rabbit hole because we've seen a lot of chaos going on, you know what I'm saying? We feeling the heat, and because we're feeling the heat, we want to know why is it that we still feeling the heat even if we bathing in cold water, you know? So definitely we don't want to know. We be seeing rain, but yes, you're still feeling heat, you know? So, and you know, I can say put God first. You know, one person, like two people can say put God first is Martin Luther and Harriet Tubman. I mean, that movie I watched with my wife, and y'all need to, if anybody, you know, feel free, you could go and watch that movie. You know what I mean? It's on Hulu if you have Hulu, if you're using digital platforms to watch television. I mean, she was a praying woman. I mean, let me tell you how this lady escaped. She go as far as jumping over or railing into a part of water and let the water swim her ashore just to get away from slavery. That's how bad it was. And she went and free other people on top of that. You know? So, but the thing is, who you think allow her to survive this? Only the God that she been praying to in heaven. Because she knew the Almighty. Believe it or not. And that was a real eye opener for me. So it go back to what Feige said, put God first. Brother DC said, cut out the confusion. But the song we played for him tonight was put God first. You know, that was on the first video. So it kind of ties into that. But definitely I want to say it's 8:21 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is 9:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10:21 p.m. Eastern Caribbean Time. You were just locked into the Black History Talks. Once again, my name is Keith Roy George Jr., better known as the Music Man. I want to thank everybody who joined in as well. The replay will be available on Mixcloud. I didn't go live on Mixcloud tonight due to, you know, it was a due to unforeseen situations. I wasn't able to set the Mixcloud for tonight, but the replay will be available on Mixcloud nevertheless. And it will also be available on Spotify. You can always jump back to our Facebook and YouTube channel and definitely rewatch the live. So with that being said, keep the faith, keep looking up, and I will definitely give you information on the next Black History Talk because I don't think this should just end in February 2025. I think we should do one more session, and then we can probably do something for the following year when we do a Black History Talk. How that sound?
Sound very good.
Yeah, sound like a good idea. And of course, you can also bring some biblical perspective inside of the whole thing as well, right? So with that being said, have a good night. Keep the faith. Keep looking up. Blessings.
Blessings to you all.
From the great mama Africa to the Caribbean, united we stay. why did we fall? Black people, know who you are. 2020 vision. United we stand. The why did we fall? Until you know we are strength in numbers, and we unite for the purpose and goal. Until you know we are strength in numbers, just unite and what prophecy unfolds. See from your own life, you rise up every day, and your main struggle is to survive. Food of you eat, so the money have we wake, so you can't have works without faith. Our purpose in life, unite and be strong, time to tear down them walls and them gates. When black people unite, them always afraid time to cut off the heads of the snake. Unite, we are strength in numbers, and we unite for the purpose and goal. Until you know we are strength in numbers, just unite and what prophecy unfolds. And so you get up every day, you fussing with me when I'm not the real enemy. If you take the time to see, with love and unity, I guarantee we all would be free. They only teach us love, they never teach us to hate. So our love is greater than great. Straight out of Africa, with job by my side, Emperor Selassie, I protector of the faith. You know we are strength in numbers, and we unite for the purpose and goal. Until you know we are strength in numbers, just unite and one prophecy unfolds. Say don't go where you come from, as long as you're a black, you're an African. Don't care where you come from, as long as you're a black, you're an African. Yeah, man, I try to Africa without the shackles and chains. Before the slave masters brainwash we brain, some of the little voices them can't contain. The African black church to me there. You know we are strength in numbers, and we unite for the purpose and goal. Until you know we are strength in numbers, just unite on what prophecy unfolds. Until you know we are strength in numbers, and we unite for the purpose and goal. Until you know we are strength in numbers, just unite on what prophecy unfolds. We're 100 million strong. We Africans, we must rebel. We're 100 million strong. We Africans, we must rebel. Yes, black people unite in the Caribbean, Asian, Jamaican, St. Lucia, Virgin Islands, all black people stand together and come strong. 2020 is the year of division, we must come together, unite and be strong for my people. Yes, they can be annihilating us, you know what I mean? Trying to disintegrate us, but they can't penetrate us, you see what I'm saying? Because we are too strong. We are 100 million black Africans all over the world.